Hey, what's up, everybody? Oh, the music got all weird right there. How's everyone doing? Shorter office hours today. I have a dentist appointment, my second one of the week. Brush your teeth and floss your teeth. Don't forget the other half of the equation. Life advice with Brian right here. Don't forget the other half of the equation. Brushing your teeth is super important, and flossing your teeth is also super important. You know, it's just weird. We'll do. If you have a question, let me know. Here's Brian's life advice segment of the day. Hey, Griffin, good to see you here. So they did the radiograph of my teeth. Feel free to join in, ask questions. I know this is not like stats related, but you know, like my teeth look all good. You got like your tooth right here, and like my tooth up here is looking like super good and super shiny and super good, just looking like, oh man, you got best teeth ever. And then over here on the side, it was like, oh, and they're like, you see this? Do you see this area right here? Now this area was like darker. They were like this, and then you see in here, if you don't know if dentist people in here, they'll just see this right here. So what happened was, is this thing right here, this thing over here started to go like this, started to go, and they're like, you need to be flossing. They're like, your teeth look good, but you're not flossing. Because that area, my area is like, my tooth's not gone. Good to see you here, Caroline. But they're like, yeah, this is bad, and you're at like this. And they showed me, and they're like, yeah, you see that? That's not good. That's not good. Because that's the root. So if you were in 320 last week, I started to get into a lot of pain. They're like, yeah, when it hits the root, you feel that pain. So this is the life of Brian right now. So I'm going to go in. But if you have questions, let me know. What questions are there? Enough about Life of Brian. I signed for DataCamp. Do you recommend any skills? Yes. Which one are you currently in, Griffin? Griffin, which class are you? Are you in the first or second class? Do the intermediate. Do the intro R. Like great practice for the weekend. And then for both classes, I would maybe dplyr is great. So dplyr. Here, we'll go over here. DataCamp Suggestions. We'll put out a cut in the video. So 474 DataCamp Suggestions. Let's go take a look. And I'll probably assign some stuff this weekend for it, just as bonus. So we go. So 474 suggestions. We got here, I'd say, introduction. Oh, Trace got a good question right here. Introduction, intermediate R. There's so many good things. I did a bunch of little small ones like loading data because I was like, I just want some free points. But dplyr is not bad. And you're in data mining, so they actually have some data mining stuff. I think they have some carrot packages. Data mining. Not bad to review like logistic and linear regression. Those topics. Like this is just kind of a starter smorgasbord of stuff. Anything dealing with data mining is really good. Can you explain to me from the lab from today why pets equals dogs and pets equals cats does not work? Yes, because the way it was, and so Trace loaded here. Great question. I'll finish this off. But does that sound like good suggestions to you, Griffin, right there? I would start off with your introduction, your intermediate. Just get your basic coding skills up, and then you just kind of get to choose your coding adventure. Whether you want to focus in on, especially this is going to be more class-related skills. These are review-type skills, and carrot is also important. I think they do have stuff over carrot. Do they not? I'm pretty sure. Let me load up DataCamp here myself, and then we'll do Trace's question. So I'm trying. Slow down, Brian. Slow down. Search catalog. And carrot. Yeah, machine learning with carrot. Oh, this will be a great one. Have I done any of this? Machine learning with carrot. Oh, look at that. I started and didn't finish it. But this is probably an amazing one right here. Regression modeling, fitting and evaluating them, classification, tuning models, processing your data, selecting models with a case, and churn. Everyone loves churn. There's another classic churn for Trace probably knows churn from our previous class, whether people leave their cell phone carrier or not. Just very classic thing to analyze if people are leaving. So Griffin, I think this would be a really great data set. And Zach right there does it. And I've completed these. I've done a bunch of different things at random times, gone through different portions of DataCamp. And yeah, at one point I was sitting down doing like 2 hours of DataCamp a day. And you retain some skills. It's just what you use, you keep. What you don't use, you forget. I've done the whole dplyr. And that's why when we're talking about dplyr on 475 today, someone was like, mutate. And I was like, that's such a good option. And I was like, yeah, mutate changes it. We can put new columns. Yeah. So I would, if you feel good with this, but you want to probably build up those base skills with like introduction to R. So if you go here to, I think I've done the intro to Python and stuff. You can see my completion rates right here. So if I go to intro to Python, like I've done intro to Python, you can see I've completed all that. I think I did intermediate Python. You don't want to do Pythons for our courses, but I've gone through the intermediate Python right here. Oh, I didn't finish it. Brian got distracted there at the end, it looks like. But the introduction to R I completed. I think one time they added new things on this because I did the intro to R so long ago that I looked and it had like a new thing on here. It had like a new section, but I've done the intermediate R also. Intermediate R gets a little challenging. I'm not saying it's like really tough, but they definitely up it from like a very basic to a more challenging thing. So I'd really suggest starting with your intro, go through the basics, get your base skills down, go to the intermediate, and then I wonder if they got like loops in here. I see there's subsets of these. You could check out if you're really like, hey, if you love some financing, which I haven't even done any of these, but intermediate R for financing, that would probably be a pretty interesting one. It won't even let me click it. There we go. I haven't done any of this one, but they've got a lot of great educators on these and loops. There we go. That's why loops showed up. All this great stuff right here. So check it out. Whatever you're interested in, DataCamp has so many options. I'd even support DataCamp if you had to actually pay for it, which we get free access through being a university course. Huge shout outs to DataCamp. Thank you so much for giving us this access. Let's do Trace's question right here. Let's head over. Sadly, this will be shorter office hours. Brian's going to brush his teeth before seeing the dentist. That way they are not like, your teeth look horrible. Like, wow, your teeth look so good. Why are you getting floss? This is Brian talking to himself. Let's go check out Trace's question right here. So Trace is wondering about a vector that we have from the dataset education. Oh, you got to do 3. Wake up, Brian. So you have to do 3 and then you have to enter. This is the data frame education found inside of the library reg class. You can also see that the education data frame is inside of reg class. When you look at it right here, you will see it's inside of reg class. Education lowercase is inside of robust base. Didn't know that. So you might not see that. I don't know if you have robust base loaded. So can you do this? Yeah, we might have time for that, Jacob. We'll try to do that. Yesterday's office hours are really excellent. It's just today's office hours will be a little bit shorter. Sorry, these are like mini office hours, and hopefully I'm feeling 100% tomorrow. But yesterday's office hours have a big explanation on the basics of Shiny. So we do go through that. So check that out. And if you're stuck, I'll be answering emails later tonight. I'm going to come back, probably try to work out if I can, and then come back and answer emails. So please see if you're stuck, email me immediately and say, hey, Brian, here's where I'm at. I'm stuck. I don't know what's going on. So Jacob, great work right there. Let's throw out some 20 points. Mubot, you awake, man? Do you know where the BS 474 labs will start and where the labs are located on Canvas? Oh, no, the labs have started. So the lab is not, sorry if I put in the syllabus or something that's located on campus. The first lab was something we completed today. And so the very first lab right here is kind of the question that Trace is asking about right now with the, he's asking related to the pets vector we have right here. So we're going to store this into a vector pets in the global environment. And we're just going to go right here and take pet and store it as pets. So we can call it pets. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Jacob. Yeah, no, I appreciate it so much. And please do not be like, Brian had a dentist appointment. I can't email him. No, just don't worry. Like, email me. If I can't answer emails. Yep, the quizzes are the labs. Exactly, Philip. Great question, Philip. And so Trace was saying he wants to do pets. Oh, we should be able to do this. Was it not running for you? Pets equals dog. And, oh, I know why. Why does this return back nobody? Or why does it return back false? Because if I go sum, when we asked people what pet they had, they could reply back, DataCamp has, yep, great answer right there, Kayla. Yeah, for 475. How we got 43, let me point to that real quick. It's easier than I made it out in class. And we pointed this out at the very, very end where Brian made a mistake. That's how. I was trying to add together 2 things. So I was thinking, like, what is the sum of both of them? My brain was just going a little too quickly. And the answer is 43 because we're not actually adding things together and checking to see if people have a dog and a cat, which If they have a dog and a cat, they would have both. But these are individuals where you ask somebody, do you have a dog? Do you have a cat? Do you have both, or do you have neither? Does that make sense? So the question here we asked people was, do you have a dog, cat, neither, or both? Well, so, and the way this would have to be asked is, at least the way we collected it right here, you are correct, because someone would need to have 2 levels to this. We would need to see that somebody has a dog and a cat, which is not the way we collected. Yeah, no, Trace, you're exactly right. Sometimes it's like, and I overcomplicated in class, which is probably part of the problem. Yeah, so it's simply just looking at the table right here, which you could also look at the summary to get the same results. So summary would get the same result right here. And then we also, for the 475 crossover, talked about how we could take right here the education data set. And you know what, I might try this a slightly different way right here. We can pipe through, little Mario right there. And we could go here to summarize. I think this would just do it right here. And let's go to, would it do it? And I don't think it's, we need to do a group by. So we need to go to group by. And it's pet, I think, in this. And then summarize length pet. Is it? It's capital. It's one thing I hate sometimes when you don't have the autocomplete. So I would say that's way more work. But what I also think, if I have my syntax is correct, that's a little 475 crossover right there, is we should be able to maybe take the pet vector, and we don't need to group by now. And we might be able to not throw in an argument right there. It doesn't like it. Oh, the pet vector is not found because I called it pets vector. And it's not liking that. Length, I see this is why I wouldn't use it. Summarize equals count, length. Apply, no applicable method. Do we have to put the pets in here also? Yeah, it doesn't like that. That's why you don't try to mix up your syntaxes right there. Feel free to fix that one I wrote, but if you have it working once, it works. So what I'm trying to point out right here is this code right here gets you the same result as this code right here. So just take a look. A summary of pets is just a table. Meanwhile, when we do our complicated dplyr method, nothing wrong with dplyr. I love dplyr. Absolutely amazing. Filtering data. You know, maybe we want to look at, like dplyr would super help if we had the additional question. We only want to look at people who are male. And so we could go here on the dplyr and we could go to filter and just go here, gender equals male. And now with dplyr instantaneously, not %, but the really great thing about dplyr is now we can see the pets of males only. Does this make sense right here? I think especially for the 475, 474, sometimes you don't need to overcomplicate stuff by going up to dplyr, but then you get the additional options of dplyr, which allows you to then throw on a filter before this. So we can filter out and only look at males and then group them by pet. And we could look at the GPA of individuals based on their pet, which is really great because you could summarize right here, go to the mean of high school GPA based on people's pets. And we'll just call this mean GPA. And now look at this. Here's the mean GPA of males based on pets. You could also, instead of doing the male-female filter here, you could go right here and group by gender also. And now we've just done a two-way grid. And you can see the highest GPAs are females who don't own pets versus females who own both. Really, I think what we're seeing right here is just gender differences. And we could then narrow down doing that. And this is the amazing thing about just doing your code in little bits right here to where you can just change it, change what you're analyzing, and all of these things right here. So, yeah, I think it works perfectly. We could look at AP hours, all these different things. But dplyr is the more complicated way of doing things where a lot of times you might just want like the easy summary. Like what % of people own a dog or a cat, like own both. We should just be able to go to here and go divide by length and do that. And here's the percents. But if we want to put in %, I could just go right here to this and do the following. There you go right there. So the % of people who own both is the following, and just practicing this right here. What other questions are there? I'm only going to go for like 5 minutes because I'm going to brush my teeth. I know they always want you to get there a little bit early. They're like, we have an appointment at 2 on Thursday. And I was like, which is 3 p.m. your time. But I was like, okay, let's do it. Let's just full steam ahead. Woohoo! Go in Tuesday at 2, or going in Tuesday at like 3, and they're like, yep, we need you back. Could you explain the purpose of the instruction sheet for our app? Yeah. So you don't have to make an instruction sheet. I would kind of like it if you did. I think it'd be cool if you did. Great question right there. Let's put a cut in the video. Do we have access to a recording of yesterday's class? Yep. It's in the link here. I'll show that. And then we'll talk about the instruction sheet for the app. So all classes should have, I'll show that real quick. Thompson, thank you for asking. So for your class, you should have the ability to go over here and whatever class you're in, go to your class and then go to the live class playlist. In 475, I named it something a little bit different. Should have named it the same thing always. So watch class live. If you click on this right here, you'll go to the link. Thompson, does that make sense? So these are recorded. I threw in the timestamps for yesterday. I should get everything done in a timely fashion today. I just like to throw them in as quickly as I can, but 3-hour dental surgery. Let's stop saying that. Just reminding myself. But does that make sense, Thompson? You should see the watch class live or the live class playlist. And when you click this, it'll bring you over to it and all that good stuff right there. Let's go talk about that instruction sheet. Let's head over. You're welcome, Thompson. Excellent work. I'm gonna put on my chill music. Chill music here. Let's talk about the instruction sheet. Okay. So the instruction sheet, I know you can't see it yet. App creator. Okay. And you don't have to use this. It can be your own creation. You need to make sure you have an instruction.rmd. I didn't upload one of these. This is just a random RMD file. You need to go to here to make an R Markdown file. It's important to know you've got these options. R script is just where you code in R. R notebooks, I actually don't use those. I really should get used to R notebooks. R Markdown I use, and R script I use. Shiny web apps. I've never used the Plumber API. Text files, C++ files, all this great stuff, other languages right here. And I really haven't used these. R presentation actually I have used, but Peter uses that a lot. It's what your notes are created in. So you need to make an R Markdown file. When you create this file right here, you need to just call it instructions. So you need to file save as instructions. So that's all I've done right here is just created an R Markdown file, and it's an instruction file. So when you look at the app creator right here, the app creator has the reference right here to include a Markdown file. So this is a tab panel right here. I'm doing this inside of a tab panel for you. And a tab panel is just, let's take a look at what a tab panel looks like. Here is what a tab panel looks like. Get ready for the tab panel. These are tabs, which is super cool that you can do this inside of R. Like this is running inside of R right here. It's just tabs. So you can see where we have a data tab, so you can see your data. And then this is an R Markdown file being run right here. You can just do whatever you want. You can call whatever you want. I've just written Brian, bold text, yes, no, whatever. All these things right here. And your instruction file is just write instructions for using your app. One of the best ways to kind of work with this to make it look really pretty is go right here and click this button, which will let you see what it looks like inside of R Markdown. So if you're wondering, am I going to get bold text? Is this going to be big or small? Well, you can just work with it like it's a file. Oh, look at what we did right there. We broke it. Let's Control Z that. So all these things you can underline, you can italics, you can make it bigger. This is your font size. Oh my gosh, well, that's a tiny little font. There's a bigger header. So you can change all these things right here. Code block, woohoo, code block. But everything you can do right here, you can just change, woo, all of this. So now, if we go back to our app creator, we'll save this. And in our app creator, we'll rerun this. And let's take a look at our instruction page. Craziness. It's all weird now. So this is kind of the goal of it here, Braden, is with the instruction sheet, you want to write instructions. It can be whatever you want for someone using your app. I can show you mine right here. Let's put up our new screen. Okay, Brian's going to load up his app, and I'll show you what I created right here for mine. Two hours later. Regression latest. Here we go. Okay. It's loading. Okay, so here is my app. You can see it right here. So this is, I basically cleared out everything I had so I could give you my app right here. So all I did was strip out all the tabs and stuff like that and give you like the base of this. because and someone asked, do we need to understand all of this? No. You're not meant to, everything I gave you for the app creator thing right here. Don't go through and start being like, how does this work? You can if you want, but you're meant to basically be like, here's something for you to work with, and you don't have to use it. This is my regression modeler 1.0, use your own data. So let's load in some data real quick. I'm loading in some data. Okay, we're loading in a CSV file loaded in, and it tells you what to do. Load in your data, investigate by various relationships, visualize, and look at interpretations. So you go right here, you can look at your data, you can just see what's going on, you can even sort and do all these fun things. I left this in here for you so you could look at data. Mine only looks at numeric columns, so it takes out the categorical. I can explain to people how to do that. We can go right here to the investigate, and whatever Y variable I put in is the variable it's investigating. So it's just looking through here at the variable we're looking at. Then over here, you can choose an X variable, like if we want to see % more intelligent, then has a distribution with weight. Well, here's the univariate analysis of this, just the histograms, and we can take a look by zooming in right here on them. Boop. And we can go to the scatter plot to investigate any sort of linear relationship. Easiest one to look at here is height and weight. And now we see the relationships, all this great stuff right here. Yours is not meant to be this complicated. Check regression. I think I know how to solve this. I think if I make this plot really big, I think that's what it's mad about. Let's see this. See if we solve this. Because I think it'll work. Because I started to realize this. Oh, that's the wrong one. So let's go right here. This is about the end right here because we're running out of time. Okay. I think by playing around with this, I solved this. Because I think the issue was the size. Yes. That was the issue. The size of the window inside of R is stopping it. Because I kept being like, why is it not creating the output? And because it's trying to create that output inside of R, and then it's not showing the investigatory graphics, which was something I just never got completed on this. But now it does create the check regression output, and it doesn't have the issue that it says the plot windows are not large enough because I increased the size inside of R. Is this making sense here, Braden? You're not meant to recode everything here. You're meant to kind of work with these containers if you want. Your group can do whatever. I'm going to have to head off in 2 minutes. But Braden, how's this sound right here? Is it making sense? Your group can create whatever you want. Make sure it's like inspired by your group. Then since I thought I was trying to tell us the back end of the app what to do. Yep. Yeah, no, you're welcome, Braden. Excellent work. You'll create your own kind of like app right here for people to use. So we're just jumping in. We're just going to see how every group does. I want groups to ask me questions. This is your chance to get to know your classmates, get to create something, and get to learn from each other, to start out right here with time series, to review what we've already learned. Like, contact me with your group with like, hey, we're thinking about doing this. And I'll be like, yeah, you can do this. I'll try to expand upon your ideas. Or I might be like, you want to tell someone what the standard deviation of a vector is? Well, maybe we need to expand. Maybe we need to do more. Because if you do that, that's going to be a little bit, though, you might get, if you make a really cool app that shows you standard deviation or just tells you it, your group might get 75. Because we could probably code that really quickly. Like it would just take a vector and tell you standard deviation. That shouldn't take more than just a few minutes here and there. So if you feel like your idea needs some help, please reach out, talk to your group, come up with an idea. We're going to have to head off. I can't talk too long. Well, sorry for the short office hours. Thank you so much, everyone, for the understanding and the well wishes. I'm going to go brush my teeth. So they're like, whoa, you get it. Anyways, fun times. 2 hours later, more like 3 hours later. Until then, I'll see everyone later. Bye for now, everyone. Hopefully my teeth do all right. Ah!
You'll be all right, Brian. Bye, everybody.